my beautiful lovelies, it's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back to my kitchen. Today's video is sponsored by KiwiCo, the makers of super cool hands-on projects that expose children to concepts of STEAM, which include science, technology, engineering, art, and math. KiwiCo crates are thoroughly kid-tested and designed by experts. There are 9 subscription lines to choose from, each catering to different age groups and topics from toddlers, teenagers, to even adults. I confess loving putting these kits together with my kids. They're a really great resource for home learning, but they're so well designed that I find that my kids don't really need that much help or assistance in putting things together or reading the directions. I really like the idea that you can learn something new every month, and I really love giving KiwiCo crates as gifts. They arrive at the kiddo's doorstep in a contained box with everything they need, so when they're ready to attack and play and do a project, everything is right there. So convenient, easy, and I know that they're going to be exposed to these great STEAM concepts. The crates also include reading material that expand on the concepts that are covered in the project, and KiwiCo's mission is to expose children to all these wonderful concepts that allow for inspiration, creation, innovation at a very young age. Just a wonderful way to just start thinking and wondering and playing with the world around you. All contained in a little box. It's just a little spark of imagination and inspiration. So if you'd like to try KiwiCo out for yourself or for your friends, click the link down below to receive 50% off your first month of any subscription. Big thanks to KiwiCo for sponsoring this video and for allowing me to make better content for all of you. So today I'm going to be making a recipe that takes potatoes and transforms them into a maple syrup. Not a true maple syrup, obviously, because we're not using anything related to maple trees or maple sap, but a maple syrup substitute. Many of you sent this to me via social media. Thanks so much for getting in touch with me. I learned so many great things from all y'all, so thanks for getting in touch. So this recipe originally comes from a book that was published in the 1970s called Wilderness Wife by Branford and Vena Angiers. So I was able to find the excerpt for this recipe online. I'll put a link down below to that in case you're curious. So according to the excerpt, either Branford or Vena, I don't know whose voice was speaking at the time, grew up making maple syrup and said that this potato syrup tastes just like it. So that is enough for me to say, okay, let's go ahead and make this. So let me walk you through the steps of what I've done so far. So first we're going to take some potatoes. We need 6 medium-sized potatoes. It's about the size of my fist. That's what I considered a medium-sized potato. And I have a mixture of russets and Yukon Golds because that's what I have. It doesn't say specifically in the recipe what kind of potatoes to use. So I just opted for what I had. We're going to wash and then peel the potatoes and then quarter them, then place them in a medium-sized saucepan and add 2 cups of water. And for the size of my saucepan, that just barely kind of covered the potatoes. We're going to put the pot on the stove, bring it to a boil, and once it gets going, we're going to reduce the heat, and then we're going to cook the potatoes just like you would if you're making mashed potatoes until the water has reduced to 1 cup or about half. And very conveniently, that's about when the potatoes are fork tender. So for me, that was about 15 to 20 minutes. So then take a fork, poke your potatoes, make sure they're fully cooked. So then take a slotted spoon or a strainer and remove your potatoes. You can make mashed potatoes. At this point, I fried them up in some oil for some home fries. Absolutely delicious. And save that precious starchy potato water. That's going to be base of our syrup. You should have about a cup of liquid. I had about 1.25 cups. So bring that starchy water up to a boil, and then you're going to add brown sugar and then slowly add some granulated sugar. We're going to stir this up until everything is fully dissolved, and then that's it. So when you can't feel any of the sugar at the bottom of the pot, you can turn off the heat and allow the syrup to cool. Once the syrup is completely cool, you're going to transfer it to a vessel. I happen to have this clamp top bottle, but any kind of mason jar, anything will work that you can kind of close up. And then we're going to let this sit at room temperature for several days. It doesn't say exactly how long, but that little bit of fermenting process is supposed to kind of mellow out the flavors. Now, if you're using a clamp jar like I am, leave a little bit of space or burp it every day because there might be some gas that builds up and you don't want your glass bottle to explode or shatter. But whatever you're using, don't put on the lid too tightly just in case any CO2 builds up. And that's it. This is where I am right now. Here is my bottle of potato syrup. It's a little bit milky. I noticed that the potato solids or starch kind of settled and separated to the bottom. So it looks pretty syrupy and I cannot wait to taste it. I'm going to do a little side-by-side comparison. I also have some maple syrup as well, but I thought this would be fun to have on some pancakes because I don't know about you, but I just don't have maple syrup by itself. We actually have it on our oatmeal every morning, but pancakes are a lot more fun. and sort of more iconic to me when it comes to maple syrup. So let's make some pancakes. I'm gonna set the syrup aside and we're going to make some pancakes. This is the King Arthur Simply Perfect pancake recipe. Quite like it. It's great because if I don't have buttermilk on hand, I usually like to make buttermilk pancakes. I can use this because it just uses milk. So I'm gonna add 2 eggs. Look how bright those yolks are. Wow. Wow, beautiful. Okay, to that, some vanilla. I never measure my vanilla because I feel like it leaves some in the spoon and I don't want to waste it, so I just pour it in. Milky, right into there. If you want to make this plant-based, then use oat milk or any plant-based milk you like. Okay, oil or butter. Okay, that goes in there. Now I'm gonna move these over here. And then I'm gonna get our mixy mixer and put in the mixers properly and then mix this up. Oh, power strip. Now we're gonna mix it. Here you go. Oh my gosh. We're gonna mix this for about 3 minutes until it's nice and foamy. I think I should have gotten a bigger bowl. Story of my life. Here we go. So I am going to transfer it to another bowl because, you know, it's just better to have more room. It is. Okay, continue beating this up. So, eggs are frothy foamy. We're going to add our sugar, salt, baking powder, and all-purpose flour. Mix gently, quickly. Few lumps are okay. And in fact, I'm gonna do the rest of this by hand with a spatula. We don't want tough pancakes. All right, that's it. That's our pancake batter. So we're gonna set this aside, let this rest while we prepare our griddle, pan, however you want to make this. If you have a griddle, that's ideal. You can make a bunch of pancakes at one time, especially if you're trying to feed a crowd. If you wanna use nonstick, great. I'm gonna be using just a stainless steel pan and I'm gonna start heating that up. So be right back. So I'm going to be using a stainless steel pan. You can use a nonstick pan if you like. Griddles are awesome. Heating this on medium heat. I like to use a splash of water to see if my pan's hot. See how the little beads of water dance right on the surface? Now, I'm gonna use a little bit of oil and then a paper towel. Kind of just smear that around. Give it a little bit of a slick. And then just gonna make our pancakes. Now, you can make your pancakes any way you like, any size you like. I like mine on the smaller side. I just do. I like stacking them up on the smaller side. So I'm using a 1/4 cup measuring spoon. I find it's an easy way to keep things uniform. Oops, I made a baby. So if you pour the batter and you pour it right in the middle, it makes for a uniform round pancake. So we don't want this too hot. And oh my gosh, it's like a little face. Look, it's so cute. It has like a little nose. So cute. Okay, you'll start to see some bubbles forming, and once they start popping, rising and popping, it's usually an indication that pancakes are about ready to flip. But I always just like to take a peek because sometimes they're not ready. And nobody wants a pancake that's raw in the middle. Well, at least I don't. Maybe you do, and if you do, then you make them how you like them. This little nose one is about ready, I think. I'm gonna flip that little baby over. The baby pancake, it's so cute. Okay, now let's see this one. Oh yes, I think you're about ready. Oh, it touched the baby. Oh no. That's okay, we'll move the baby over. Good, now let's get this one. This one is more perfectly golden than that one, but that's all right. And then I always like to give them a little press to make sure they're not squishy inside. If they're squishy and squidgy, reduce the heat and let them keep cooking. This one's a little squidgy still. This one's about ready. See how it's like firm, kind of bounces back? Okay, let's grab a plate. Are you a pancake person or are you a waffle person? I actually am more of a waffle person than pancakes. My youngest, pancakes, 100%. Older, waffles. Husband, pancakes, I believe. Although waffles are pretty stinking good. Okay, dish one is ready. This one is ready too. Just about ready. This baby one's really ready. And this one's ready too. So I'm gonna continue frying pancakes and then we'll do our little taste test. Okay? Okay. Alrighty, lovelies, I've got 2 stacks of pancakes here. Very cute pancakes in my opinion. Cute, 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 right? We have these 2, they're identical, but I have a gray plate and I have a white plate. I will use the gray plate for the potato, and this will be the maple syrup. Now, I've got our 2 contestants here, maple and potato, and I'm curious to see the difference in color. This uses brown sugar. It looks like the color of maple syrup, but let's compare it to, this is grade A, so this is a darker color maple syrup. And I'm pouring it here, and immediately, this is a darker color. So if this is grade B, it would be lighter, I imagine. So that's grade A, and if we compare the color, this is definitely lighter in color. And in terms of syrup quality, in terms of consistency, this looks to be thinner as well. So this is the real maple syrup, and this is the consistency. Actually pretty watery. Now if we compare that to, now let's pour our potato maple syrup. I'm going to shake it to make sure everything is mixed up. And let's pour that into the glass. Yes, that has a thicker viscosity to it, doesn't it? It smells brown sugary. It actually can smell a bit of the potato in there. Yeah, not unpleasant, not at all. So I'm gonna put the cap on so I don't knock that over by accident. And we'll use a spoon here to compare the thickness. Actually, upon pouring from a spoon, it doesn't look to be that much thicker. It's actually quite similar. Okay, so now we're gonna do the pour. Pancakes, there we go. Looks pretty good, huh? Woo. All right, now let's compare that to the maple syrup. So that's the maple syrup. It's much darker in color compared to the potato syrup. Potato syrup, maple syrup. Now the moment I have been waiting for, let's go ahead and give these a taste. I'm going to taste the potato one first. So, I like taking a little wedge and getting all 3 stacks. This is actually more syrup than I would normally put on, I think. Alrighty, there we have it. Itadakimasu. Tastes like breakfast. That's good. Now, it tastes like pancakes and syrup, but I'm having pancakes. So let's try the syrup by itself and see how that tastes. Here we go. Ooh, that's pretty good. Wow. I'm impressed by that. It is quite sweet, very sugary sweet, but it has a nice little complexity to it. I thought it would just taste like brown sugar, but it tastes like brown sugar, but it does have more of a flavor to it, kind of similar to maple syrup. Wow, amazing. I don't taste any potato at all. It doesn't taste like spuds, but it's good. Wow. I will say it's very syrupy sweet. We have 2 cups of sugar in here, but I prefer this so much more than the bottle with the one that comes to life with a little woman on it. This has such a great flavor to it. It doesn't taste artificial. Wow. Okay, but does it taste like maple syrup? Okay, let's try the maple syrup by itself and see what that's like. Oh, yeah. When you have side by side, you can clearly taste the difference. This has a much more complex flavor. This tastes woodsy and toasted and caramelized in a way that this does not. Oh, side by side, you can really clearly taste the difference. This definitely tastes more brown, sugary, caramelized, while this one has really deep flavor to it, like a roasted nuttiness. And because we made the pancakes, we have to taste the pancakes as well. Okay, here we go. Tastes like breakfast. Because it is. The maple syrup has a much stronger flavor than the potato syrup. But I would say if you need a maple syrup replacement, potato syrup makes a ton of sense. So I think it's really easy to imagine someone making some potatoes and saving that potato water and said, hey, maybe I can use this for something, and then coming up with this invention of making maple syrup dupe. And good dupe it is. Had I not had it right next to the original, I don't know that I would have been able to distinguish all the different kind of nuances in the flavors. As it is, I think it is a very good maple syrup dupe, very surprisingly enough. So the next time you're making potatoes and you have some potato water, instead of throwing it down the drain, why not try making a little bit of potato faux maple syrup? Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media. Like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo. Take care. Bye. Now I've got a glut of pancakes. Not a bad problem to have, I would say.